I've been editing YouTube videos for over 5 years, and now I edit full time for some of the largest creators in the world. But there were some brutal challenges that I had to face on the way here, so in this video, I'm going to condense half a decade of experience into a single video. I'm going to show you exactly how I got my first few clients, how I went from charging 100, 200 bucks a video to now over 1,000, and most importantly, how to avoid the mistakes that I made on my way to my first 10k month. Starting off with year number 1, which I call the honeymoon phase. So I kind of fell into editing by mistake. I used to watch Fortnite videos at the time, and one day I woke up, I decided, hey, I want to make my own videos. And the editing software that I chose, it wasn't DaVinci, it wasn't Premiere Pro, it wasn't After Effects, it was Share Factory. And if you don't know, that's the default video editing software that you find on PS4. After some time, I finally came to my senses and I installed Premiere Pro on a laptop I had at the time. I spent that year editing over 100 videos on my own. Now, don't get me wrong, I was absolutely terrible when I first started, but that didn't matter because I loved editing and I was sort of just figuring it out as I went. So I want to prepare you with some expectations if you are still in this honeymoon stage of editing and you are going to transition later on. First of all, expect to suck. Everyone does. All you want to do is just edit video after video because especially this early on, you're going to improve just purely through repetitions. And if you do it right, you're not going to need to spend an entire year in this stage like I did before you can actually monetize. So to stay motivated during this stage, I recommend working on content that you actually enjoy. Because these first 5, 10, 15 videos, you're probably not going to get paid what you want, if anything at all. But these are the videos, if you actually try on them, they're the videos that allow you to monetize and make more money as you go into the later stages. So next, how did I go from editing 3 videos to actually getting paid for my editing? Well, that's where year 2 comes in, and I call this the hustle year. So I used to be pretty active in Discord servers, whether they were about content creation or editing. I would just talk in them, and there were times where I would share some of my work in there for whoever cared. And then one day I open up my phone, I check my messages, and I see a DM from a guy with a Patrick Star profile picture. He asked me, yo bro, do you edit for other people? And here's the thing, I had never done it before, but I kind of just said, yeah, sure. And a few seconds later, he messaged me, it's $5 cool. Now that sounds like nothing now, but for 16-year-old broke, unemployed me back then, damn straight $5 is cool. Like, I didn't even realize that people paid other people to edit their videos. So I took half of the payment up front and we agreed to do half after. I started working on the video, but there was a problem. The problem being that the damn video was 2 minutes long and it took me a week to edit because of how slow my computer is. Nonetheless, I got the video done, I sent it to him, and the next morning I wake up, I look at my phone and he's messaged me back. So I open it up excited and then I read, yo bro, I don't think I want the video anymore. I got scammed for $2.50 for my first ever commission. But here's what's interesting. I'm actually grateful that that happened. Not only did it teach me that I should probably charge up front if I don't want to get scammed, but more than that, it taught me that making money online was real. So I kind of just brushed that guy to the side, pretended it never happened, and I continued editing. I continued posting my work and I continued getting clients, and within about 5 months I actually hit around $400-500 a month, and I was finally able to get a good PC. But here's the lesson that I learned from the second year so that you can actually make progress faster than me. First of all, don't let limitations like a bad PC or not having enough time be the reason that you don't try. Like, I had a terrible laptop. I was doing this while in full-time education, but I still didn't use that as a reason to complain. Because the truth is, I didn't have a choice. My family couldn't afford a good PC. And one of the quotes which I love is, if you want it bad enough, you'll find a way. The second lesson that I learned is post your work on social media. I've still got all of those posts that I put out during that period, and even though they were paying me 10-20 bucks a video, me posting consistently was the only reason I was able to get consistent clients at that time. And the third lesson is see everything as a lesson. When I got scammed for that $2.50, it stung, but I'm glad that I paid $2.50 for that lesson rather than me learning that lesson now and it costing me hundreds of dollars. So now with me at $400-500 a month, a brand new PC, that brings us on to year 3, which I call the year of the client ladder. So while I had started making money editing by this point, there was a problem. And that problem was I couldn't scale up. I thought that a new PC would solve it, and sure, there was a little less lag, but I was making the same amount of money. So how did I actually break out of that under 1K per month plateau? Well, to explain that, I gotta give you a story from a friend who's also an editor. His name's Vise, and me, Vise, and another friend who was an editor as well, we'd be in this group chat and we'd talk quite often. We're all charging about 10, 20, maybe even sometimes $30 a video. But then one day, Vise posted in the group chat a win. He just got a $200 commission. And while I wish I could say I was happy for him because he was my friend, the truth is I was jealous. Like, this guy just made half my monthly income from a single video. In fact, I was so jealous I didn't even believe that it was true. So I went on Twitter, I tried finding the client's name, and lo and behold, the guy actually did make a post a few hours ago saying that he's looking for an editor and his budget was $200. And that moment exactly was actually how I broke out of this plateau. Because fundamentally, if you want to charge $200, $300, $400, $500, $1,000 per video, step one is to actually believe it's possible. Because if you don't believe it's possible, you're never going to have the balls to actually charge it. So simply seeing my friend and being in a network where someone did charge more than I was used to, it kind of kickstarted and allowed me to actually start saying bigger numbers. And the second lesson that I learned during this year, which broke me out of this plateau, was target people who are already in pain. Seeing Vise close a guy who is already looking for an editor made me realize how much easier it is to close someone when they actually want someone like you. So you might as well go for a guy who's already looking for an editor, because otherwise you're just that cringe guy who's screaming, I will maximize your attention, but you're saying it to a guy who literally doesn't care. So after learning this, I kept using this system. I moved up the client ladder using one client to get the next, and eventually I raised my prices. I'm getting more clients. I hit 1K a month, hit 2K a month, hit 5K a month. By December 2022, I had my first 10K month. And while I wanted to celebrate, there was a problem that came up that I had never expected. And this problem was literally killing me, and it is going to destroy your career if you're not ready for it. So by year 4, I'm posting consistently and I'm outreaching, so I'm getting clients. I'm constantly over delivering on videos, so I am improving. The problem was no longer clients or skill. It was me. I was working the hardest I ever had, but my life was falling apart. Like, I had dark circles under my eyes. I had friends that I had stopped reaching out to, and I started putting a little more fat on, which wasn't too fun. And while I'd love to say, don't do what I did and you're gonna burn out, the truth is, I wouldn't change a thing if I had to go back. Because in that 1 year, I made more progress than I even thought was possible. I hit my first 10K month while in full-time education. I moved up the client ladder and I'm working with the largest people in the world. But most importantly, I realized that I actually had the potential to work. Because while so many people say they're afraid of burnout, what they forget to understand is, first of all, they've never actually pushed themselves far enough to understand where their threshold is. Second of all, the fact that that threshold can be progressively overloaded. It can be trained to go further and further. And third of all, the fact that, do you think Jeff Bezos or Elon Musk or any entrepreneur you look up to didn't have a few sleepless nights? I'm at the stage now where I don't have to work a 9 to 5. I do a job that I love for people that I love. So I look back to this season of my life with so much gratitude, because without it, I know I wouldn't be here. So if you are going to go through a grind season like this, let me give you some advice, so hopefully it's just a little easier while you're going through it. The first piece of advice is prepare. Realize that what you're trying to achieve here is a lot more than what most people you know have actually achieved. So if you want more than what most people have, you're gonna have to do more than what most people do. And sometimes just accepting that as reality makes it easier when you're actually going through that sacrifice and that grind. And second of all, to actually fix your health and stay stable while you're working, just get the basics right. I used to fall into this trap of trying to hyper optimize every part of my health. Which supplement should I take? Which time should I work out in order to have the maximum energy while I work? I was doing all of these things, forgetting the fact that I literally had like 2 hours of sleep the night before. So just getting the basics right, diet, sleep, water, exercise, social connection, those 5 things, they will keep you 95% of the way there. As long as you keep those in check, you're fine. And third of all, if you want to stay sane during this journey, fix your workflow. The more you can get done during a single session, the more progress you will make in less time. So spend the time, the money, the energy, whatever it takes to actually be able to edit faster. And to help you out here, I've given you 250 smooth editing presets completely for free. It's in the description. If you want to edit faster, I recommend you start there. So at this point, I'm making money editing, I'm over delivering, so I am actually improving. And third of all, I've gotten my health in check. That brings us on to year 5. And I call this year enlightenment. Let me explain why. For all these years, I'd been jumping between multiple clients, and that's completely normal because for most editors, you're going to improve faster than the client's pay can keep up. Like for the guys that I worked with at 100, 200 bucks a video, I loved working with them, but they probably can't afford my rates now of 1, 2,000 a video. But that method of constantly switching clients completely changed during this 5th year, and here's the pivot that I actually made. So now that I've collected all these huge clients in my portfolio, I have the leverage to pretty much work with anyone that I want. And what you'll realize about big clients is that it doesn't matter what niche they're in, all of them can pay the rates that you want. So it became less about who can pay me and more, who do I genuinely enjoy working with? And that's why I call it enlightenment, because I started off editing as a hobby. And then I went through the trials and tribulations as I'm trying to make it work. And then I came out the other side where it feels like a hobby again. But the difference is I'm making 5, 10, 15,000 a month. And that's where we are now, year 5. I'm editing full time. I don't work a normal job and I fell in love with the game. And if you are interested in a deeper dive of how I actually scaled and the system I used, I've got a full video where I break down the 6-step system that I used to actually scale editing this far. You can go click on that video now and I'll see you over there.